euros to get the 1 pound, and it keeps on changing every day. But for customs, it has been changing fortnightly. It is based on number of factors like trade balance, capital balance, real interest rate in the country, and inflation. But in simple terms, it could be said that it is generally based on demand and supply, the basic rule of economics. When the exchange rate changes, this can affect different stakeholders in different ways depending on the direction of the change. The exchange rate for cities is changing every fortnightly, and for both import as well as export, the exchange rates are different. Suppose currently the exchange rate for import is 68.45 and for export it is 67. There would be always a variation of 1 or 2 rupees. And the rate of import is always higher. And now determining tariff code. Anyone knows what is tariff code? Can anyone even try to assume or guess that what is tariff code? What do you think? Actually, tariff codes help to determine the duties on the basis of accessible value. It is actually a very broad concept, but I tried to present it in a simple form. Import and export of goods required to be assessed to duty, we have to pay import or export duty. And classification of import and export goods is governed by Customs Tariff Act 1975. And this classification is based on HS system, that is harmonized system world over, and is managed by World Customs Organization. The HS is organized into 21 sections and 96 chapters, and it has general rules for interpretation, and it has also explanatory notes that why any product or thing falls under whichever section or chapter. Firstly, the system assigns goods to section and then proceeds to assign chapters and heading and subheadings. Product code can be determined according to their form and function. That suppose this is a duster. What is its form? Suppose it's wooden, then it's wooden, and what would be its function? It's to be clean. And these factors are considered while assigning any tariff codes to a product. See here the example is of potatoes. Even for potatoes, that would be bifurcation of fresh or frozen. Again, for oven, whether it will be used for domestic purpose or industrial purpose. Improper classification may lead to delayed international borders clearance. Many times it happens that whenever we have an import, a query has been raised. This is never been the problem, but this could be the problem if we have not properly specified the tariff. A slight difference in classification can create a big difference in the taxes that are paid. Arrangement of goods in the tariff is an increasing degree of manufacture of products in the sequence of natural products, raw materials, semi-finished and fully finished goods or machinery. Like from the basis of nature it starts. Firstly, sir, we can go forward. See, you can see that live animals and products, animal products are given. There are 21 sections in which they are being given first number. Then comes vegetable products, then their extracts, then other foodstuffs. Means as much it gets processed, it gets higher chapter or sections. Then mineral products, products of minerals and chemicals, plastic, rubbers, raw hides with skin and fetal of animals, wooden articles, charcoal, straw, etc., pulp of food, textile and articles. This way different sections are there. 21 sections are there. And generally in assisted we are importing raw material, which is for stainless steel, copper and metal. So our is variating from chapter 17 to 21. In import export, we'll first see what is generally import procedure. Firstly, we have to take proper follow from freight forwarder. Who is freight forwarder? It is a kind of transport agency which carries our goods from the other end to bring it to us. So we have to take timely follow that where a particular thing has been reached. Then we have to appoint a CHA. CHA is a customs house agent who on our behalf acts as an agent and approaches customs for clearance of the goods. Then we have to provide number of documents like invoice, packing highway bill, declaration of product, GATT declaration and NFOM. This GATT declaration is that general agreement on trade and tariffs. And later if any queries been raised, we have to solve them giving proper justification of the product and why we have imported it and why that product is declared like that. Because I faced this, they have raised number of queries unnecessarily because I could say honestly that it is the most corrupt department. We had to arrange for import duty. Based on the accessible value and tariff applied to it, we had to pay import duty. And then after we had to invert the material in registers which we keep with us and we avail send credit on it. Now export procedure, we had to firstly file shipping bill and CHA does that on our behalf. Shipping bill is a kind of bill we have to file with customs department that we are exporting this product to this destination. Then we had to arrange fumigation certificate. It is a kind of pest control procedure which is done on the wooden pallets because India is a country in which humidity is more and so while going from here, if it is a sea shipment, it may develop pests in it which may cause harm to our product. So we have to get it fumigation and we have to also hand over them certificate that it has been fumigated. And these are the number of documents which I will show you later in PDF. I have kept it. It is commercial invoice, excise invoice, ARE1. ARE1 is application for removal of accessible goods from any accessible unit. So then that is self-declaration form, export value declaration, shipping line instructions, advance cargo declaration and gate pass to remove from our company. And we have to also paste labels generated from the software of the logistics. Then we had to make entry in daily stock account or you can say register that this material is being sent out for export and we had to take follow-up until it leaves India because customs credit. Now what is customs duty? It is a tax levied on imports by the custom authorities of a country to raise state revenue and to protect domestic industries from more efficient or predatory competitors from abroad. See why customs duty are being charged. It is generally for import. Why? There are a number of reasons. Firstly, we are allowing another country to sell something. So indirectly we are losing our currency. So to demotivate people to buy something from out, it has been charged. In addition to it, government needs money to run the country, right? And also to promote more of exports, to gain more currency, we are promoting exports. So we are not paying any duties on it. It is charged around about 20.85% on imports, of which 14 to 16% we get credit. So we can get rebate or refund of it. And Government of India promotes export and so no duty is charged on export. And general law procedures of accessible units. Can anyone tell me what is accessible units? What is the difference of any normal production or manufacturing unit and excess unit? Even I was not knowing before showing that. See, any manufacturing unit who crosses turnover, sales turnover more than 89 lakhs, they have to register, and after it crosses 1.5 crore of its turnover, they have to One is the main substance on which the process is done, and the other are the supporting. So raw material is the main content and the capital goods are supporting materials. And there are registers in which we have to make proper entry on inward of it. And import and purchase from domestic market, we can avail sandwich credit on the basis of duplicate. So we maintain a register in which we have to mention credit availed, on the basis of which we are claiming rebate in future. Then for manufacture we issue raw materials and capital goods, and so just like our any accounting way, we have to first take credit of the parts and the price and all duties, and against it we have to debit in future when we are issuing it for production. We have to make entry of raw material if it returns. Suppose there is requirement of 100 kgs of steel, but only 98 is used and 2 kgs are returned. So we have to again credit it in the register. Then whatever rejection falls, we have to mention it in daily stock, because again that wastage is also accessible, and removal of that scrap also we are paying excise duty. And finally, the daily stock register is showing the stock of finished parts against every date. The scope of work for removal, that could be many. I have mentioned few. That is for export. We have to prepare excise and customs documents. For job work, we have to issue a challan and we have to make an entry. And revenue rejection, as I told earlier, we have to prepare excise invoice, which carries along with the scrap. These are the service tax principles for manufacturing unit. You people have heard service tax on number of things and bills that they are charging service tax, but for specifically manufacturing unit where I am working, that this kind of things are there. Service tax imposed by Government of India on services provided in India. See, even excise duty is also the duty which is charged for the domestic sales, not on international or other things, not for foreign trade. It is for domestic only. It is a tax levied on services rendered by a person. The person who is providing that service is responsible. See, a manufacturer is responsible for paying excise duty. The same way, the one who is providing service is responsible for paying service tax. Service recipient is a person liable to pay service tax in certain cases, but government has prepared such terms in which even the service receiver is liable to pay service tax, and that is called reverse charge mechanism. Like a company, they are hiring number of cabs, also consulting engineers and that all. Their turnover is not as much of paying service tax, but the company is getting that service, and so they are supposed to pay service tax under as per reverse charge mechanism. See, these are the examples for which a company is liable to pay service tax as per reverse charge mechanism, like renting a cab, transport agency. Like if we are bringing some raw material.
Yes, as I said, ask questions. Okay, so how many of you are aware about Sandweight? She has used Sandweight credit multiple times. So, do I assume that all of you know what is Sandweight credit? So, who will ask this question?
Yes, sir. What is Sandweight credit and how does
You repeat your question.
મને થોડુંક જ ખબર છે એટલે સર એમાં.
कोई बात नहीं. What is your question?
What is Sandweight credit and how does it work?
Okay, Sandweight credit is a tax which is being charged by central government. There are a number of taxes being charged like VAT, CST, but Sandweight is the tax charged by directly central government on any goods or services. Like I have told you that this department falls directly under central government, and so CEN is added to it, and VAT, that is value added tax for the product. Suppose the product is for 100 rupees, but the final receiver will be getting it for 112.5, and so 12.5 will go to government. So that is Sandweight. And Sandweight credit is specifically a thing. Suppose I am a manufacturer, I am getting a raw material again I will be processing and selling it in the market. So again I will be charging 125. So I will be doing the same thing, but I get credit of 12.5 which I have purchased, and against it I can get refund of that amount because I am again selling it in the market. So instead of charging 125, I will be charging 112.5 only. So it is one and the same. So instead of paying double, triple, or 4 times of the amount of the tax, we are getting it credit. Right?
Same tax again in agreement. जैसे कहते हैं ना कि एक गुना है कि दो तीन सजा नहीं हो सकती. So you already paid the tax. Now you don't want to pay the tax again. And if you have paid it, you will get the credit. So that's the SENVAT. Central VAT, you know it, and credit. Okay. Any other question?
Paid on capital goods also.
Yes, we are getting the capital goods also. But for capital goods, it is like for 50% for first annual year, and then in the next year, another 50%.
Tariff code.
Yes, tariff code is a code. It is a world level code. As I said, 21 sections. It is not just for India. It is being used internationally. And under 21 sections, there are a number of chapters. Starting from, we could say, 6 times 01. There are RITC code is for India and HS code is for international level. HS code comprises 10 digits and RITC code is for 8 digits.
Is it for a particular product?
Yes, particular product. It is for particular product, but then also there are number of products, so it won't be exhaustive. So we have to relate that under which section or chapter it would fall, and based on that we have to pay tax.
The हर एक किस्म के हिसाब से you have to pay taxes. So that's why it says written. It is very important that you classify accurately. Otherwise, it may turn out that you will be paying more taxes than what is required. So that's, and everybody use that harmonized system of classification.
Duty is for the demotivating the people to purchase from the outside. Then why the government is giving permission to purchase from the outside?
Because suppose see, take an example of SSY. We are the manufacturer of products which are not sold even a single unit in India. It is for international market. So we have to meet those standards. The raw material which is available over here, we have many a times tried domestic vendors, but they are not up to the mark. For samples it would be different, and when originally it comes is different. So standards are not matching as per our requirement. So we have to get that from vendors from outside of India, and so we have to do it.
You cannot ban the import because otherwise other countries will ban our product. Now we are going to free trade. So there is no question of not permitting import. Right? Okay. So we appoint CHA. Can I do it on my own? Because if I appoint CHA, I have to pay something to maybe. Suppose I don't want to do that. मैं कहता हूँ कि मैं जाके खुद क्लियर करूँ. Can I do that? What role actually CHA plays? अगर आप में से किसी को CHA बनना है तो क्या आप बन सकते हैं? तो ऐसे सवाल पूछो ना आप. क्या उनको पूछना, मुझे नहीं पता. तो मेरे दिमाग में आया कि मैं ये जॉब नहीं करनी क्योंकि मेरे बच्चे सवाल नहीं पूछते तो मजा नहीं आ रहा. तो मैं CHA बन जाऊँ. तो क्या मैं अभी जाके CHA बन सकता हूँ क्या? तो आप पूछो उनको.
With customs department, and even to get that registration, number of formalities is been done, and it is quite a tougher process because it is a license to bring something from a foreign country, and it could be harmful to country also, like dumping is done. Even fake imports have been done. We can come across number of such things where fraud has been done. So it comes up to that extent that a person who imports such thing on behalf of importers, the CHO processes it, their license get cancelled. Even it is punishable and it is an offensive act if anything such happens. So it is a kind of very higher risk-taking responsibility.
उसके लिए एग्जाम भी पास करने पड़ते हैं to get the license of CHA.
Yes.
Right? And they clear all the documents which are mandatory. Yes, मुझे लगता है इतने सवालों में काफी होगा.
That is
Please, please. What is term before? So what is bill of lading then? You can answer by reading also. Sure, ma'am.
Okay, see, the way we are carrying tickets for sitting in any transport, in the same way, BL or airway bills need to be carried by the goods which is being exported. So, bill of lading is that thing, a ticket of the product, which we do it. And later we get this and we have to submit the attested copies to banks and excise
मतलब
department.
बिल ऑफ lading नहीं है तो आपको कुछ goods की डिलीवरी वगैरह सब नहीं मिलेगी.
And it also helps in tracking of the product. So this is excise invoice in which we mention the product, tariff number, date and time of removal, and who is the buyer, and quantity and method manually. We also mention means for cross verification against which ARM1, for which terms rebate or duty one.
बड़े चलो ये तो आपको बहुत आता है.
This is airway bill. The way BL was for sea shipment, airway bill is for air shipments. This is for job work. Sometimes we are not able to manufacture or process some parts. We have to give on job work basis to some other producer, manufacturer, and for that we have to issue this so that the material which we are issuing.